Big shout out to everyone watching. It's Jrod on Point. You are listening to On Point True Crime. Thank you so much for everyone to be here. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Big shout out to everyone watching. It don't matter where you are around the world. It don't matter if you're watching, if you're listening. I'm the host of the most, the thing to the tango, the yin to the jangle, Jrod on Point. Try to preserve my voice is key, so we could be consistent in these YouTube streets. How everyone doing today? Big shout out to Amy Conway. We're gonna get to the chat. We officially starting the show. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for the long introduction, for listening and enjoying the music from D1 Entertainment. You know, it's things that we have done that show work, show content. You know what I'm saying? Like it hit different. People be falling asleep on me though. You know what I'm saying? They're taking a nap on your boy J Raw on point. In today's morning, we're gonna be talking about the Idaho full Bryan Kohberger case. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. It's gonna be key to always go back. Is key to always go back to the materials. It's always good to go back to the materials. You know, it's a lot of people. I'm doing great, Amy Conway. Thank you so much. Very appreciate it. You see, a lot of people got different ways to bring the content. Some people like to read the dockets, and some people like to go to many ways to share the content about whatever they want to talk about in true crime or whatever is the niche. Make sure that while you're listening and while we having these early acknowledgments and monologue, to start and warm up today's homework, today's work. We're just gonna work. We're gonna fall back, enjoy time to talk, have a conversation about the Idaho full Bryan Kohberger case. J. Ron Point, True Crime is Life, and I welcome ya for today's conversation. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and hopefully you have time to have a communication about common sense and truth and reality, because you know a lot of people could speedball like myself and bring up theories and theses, and we could just sit here and amplify our thoughts and maximize our time and do things productively like we always do here in this channel. But I also want to keep the roots of keeping it not non filter. I always try to always filter anyway, but I try to cut that filter because sometimes people need to hear what they need to hear so they understand. Nine times out of ten, if people got time, if people's in the mood, they listen. Hopefully, we could all take time to listen to each other. If any pointers, Amy Conway in the chat, as always, big shout outs to you. Thank you so much for always being here, holding the chat down. I have to take some measures early. As a CEO, I gotta handle situations at the moment. I think I feel like Judge right now. I feel like Judge right now. Big shout out to John Judge. Big shout out. But I think I kind of like feel like him. Hold on. Yeah, put this shit in my presence last minute. Hold on. All right, cool. I'ma strike this shit. I'ma strike this shit, right? And then I'm gonna handle it with my staff. Big shout out to Rock Shock, as always. Big shout out to Rock Shock, Amy Conway. Joanne might pop up sometime. Cindy was here earlier. I seen you, Cindy. K Flynn might pop up real quick. Boom, boom. Say hi and sit back and listen. Big shout out to all those beautiful, amazing moderators. They always sit in the cut. Thank you so much. Members, new members, all members. Big shout out to all members. Big shout out to all the new subscribers. I see ya. I see ya. Big shout out to all of ya. Make sure if y'all, you know what I'm saying, appreciate the content. Make sure that you hit us up right there. The On Point family. We're growing as we speak in a steady pace. And we appreciate all the new reaching outs and all the people that have been coming through and having conversations about the Idaho Fall. And for those that are still coming through and talking to me about the Kiely Rodni case, big shout outs to you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. From the CEO, Jrod Point. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Yes, indeed, Amy Conway. It's been a long week. It's been a long week, but you know what? I seen the fruits. I seen the fruits of the seed that we planted in the soil. I see that the conversation is being listened to. You know me, even though if we go live and it's like 200, 300, 400 people listening, I don't care. If it's 100, I'm cool with that. But at least that's 100, 200, 300 people that are listening to the message. And if you ask me, that's a lot of people to plant a good seed. Because this is all what we're doing. We're planting a good seed of common sense, of like, listen, I'm just like I'm just like you. Like we same, but we not same. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We same, but not same. If you know what I'm saying. You hear me? Bars. But in the true crime, we all equal. In the true crime, we all equal, and not same, but equal. And it hit different, right? So when we come here, we just try to make sure that you see, even though you might not like the messenger, but guess what? How about this is why listen, it's like sometimes I feel that people listen more when I shut off the camera and I do my radio shit. Like I feel that people like to listen to podcasts more than actually watch someone talking. I don't know why I get that. Listen, cause I listen. I'm handsome. I'm handsome. Pause. No Diddy. Or correct. You know what I'm saying? But it's like people, because I do know my moderators, and I know my moderators, like the majority of them, they like to watch the chat, fall back, and listen. And I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for that. It's like, yeah, I know y'all here because everything in the chat is all gravy and it's legit. It could be Amy Conway always like frontlining and stuff, but it's always. I mean, you could see the people here, and he's not talking in the chat. You know what I'm saying? So 9 times out of 10, these are our moderators. We doing homework. We fall back and just enjoy the show, which I appreciate y'all, because I know y'all here. It's the host of the most thing to the tango, Gene to the Django, Jrod Point. How about if today we just go back to the materials? Let's just, we could speed up the process because we already listening to it, but while we browsing and making sure that we hit those key pointers about it all, that's very important. That's content. And I think that some people in the true crime community could appreciate different perspective and a different POV from someone like J. On Point. Because again, we're on point true crime. If we're not on point, we're close to it and we goddamn tell you something that is a 99.9% to get to on point. And I'll try to keep it like that quality control far as myself and everything we do here. We try to keep it to the 100%. Again, you could get out of the hood, but the hood's not gonna get out of you. I want to make sure that we keep that correct. Cause people think that it's like, oh, but why J-Rod, why, listen, he hit different. Why J-Rod act like that? How old is he? He 48. How the fuck he talk like he's still in high school and shit? While sounding smart as fuck. But guess what? Cause I'm from Puerto Rico and I drink from the fountain of youth. That's a secret fountain over there in Puerto Rico. You drink that good old water. Your mind, your thoughts, your spirit, even your skin. I'm handsome. Yes, stop playing with me. And I'm smart as fuck. And I'm from the hood. Who you talking to? This is why I try to always keep that picture out there. You know what I'm saying? So like that when y'all see that picture right here that you see right now, it's like, no, that's me. What you talking? What? Like, why we getting it all fucked up here? Like, why you think I have time to come here and lie to people about what? Lie about what? I don't got time for shit if you ask me. And when I turn on here, microphone and come here and talk to y'all, listen, I got something to say. Then right got something to say. And I know that it's something that some people, if not the whole world, should listen to. Don't forget I'm international like that. Big shout out to everybody around the world that are listening to J Round Point. Thank you so much. Remember, today we're gonna develop the title. We're gonna develop the title. This is why the live stream is just Idaho full Bryan Kohberger. That's the main topic. J Round Point Live. Because you see, like I have seen the community reaching out and coming to the live streams and stuff. I want to keep giving y'all the opportunity to keep coming and talk about the Idaho full Bryan Kohberger case, to have conversations. So y'all come and speak your mind. Because again, y'all allowed to do so. You have a subscription, you have a membership, you have a moderation. You is for you for here to enjoy the community and speak your mind, right or wrong. We will figure it out together. That's the whole point of this show, of this channel, of what this host, Jerome Point, is doing here. We have created a very small but very smart community, and I'm trying to develop and making sure that I see that y'all here. So I want to spend time with y'all too. I don't want you to feel, I took a pretty long vacation, but I listen. I feel always that I got to keep reminding y'all how much love I have for our community, and due to that, I say and I develop analysis. Everything is just passionate but on point. I'm not trying here to come in run you around the point and then just leave you hanging. You know, a lot of people have those bad habits. I think today is time for a good time. Time for a good time. Hopefully, everybody pop up in the chat and give us company right here. Me and Amy Conway, so we go all together, have a conversation as we always do. All good, positive vibe. Big shout out to Amy Conway. She always keep the vibe positive in the chat. Big shout out to Cindy Abbott. She was here early. Hopefully she's still around. Big shout out to Cindy Abbott. Thank you so much. We appreciate you to be here as always. We all riding through the storm together. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It shouldn't be no storm though, right? Amy Khan will say hi, Cindy. We saying all hi, Cindy. Hopefully, Cindy feels better. We rise above it all. Very important. And ladies and gentlemen, what we seen today in this live stream is all what we're talking about pre-trial rituals. What we've been talking about far as all these hearings before the trial is all pre-trial hearings to develop and purify and select and put together the prosecution and the defense team argument while sharing while the prosecution has and must share everything and anything that they are trying to use on in trial, arguments, experts, what evidence from the prosecution is going to be admitted in trial. And if it's not going to be admitted in trial and it's going to be excluded, and that evidence affects the trial, it'll get excluded anyway, and the trial will not move forward. They'll vacate the trial date and it goes for status. Because again, if this particular evidence that the state is trying to present in front of the court and the jury against Bryan Kohberger, again, this is not a trial by ambush, and it should not be. It cannot be a trial by ambush. That now, because again, we have seen the prosecution play with the time that it should be used and utilized in a better way to administrate. They've been playing with the time. That means that as long as they hold key essentials of what they're trying to use in court against Bryan Kohberger, the longer that they prolong them sharing that with the defense team, which they have to anyway, as much and as big whatever discovery might be, it has to be shared with the defense team in total and absolute. That's pre-trial rituals. And it seems like it's taboo for people. Like people act like that is not rules and regulations before they go to trial. Like what are you talking about? Like pre-trial rituals to get to trial is get to the essentials of why we here And that's what is gonna make us move to trial. Because a trial must occur because it's critical, key, solid evidence that a trial must occur. Can I get a witness in the chat? Yeah, I'm preaching. I have to. I have to. I have to. Sometimes I feel like the true crime priest. It's like I gotta talk to the non-believers in justice. Even though that we, especially here in this channel, we put in question a lot the justice system, but we are firm believers of justice. Even though we put justice in question, because we have to, because we the people put injustice in question is how we make sure the justice is on point. You get that? And here in United States of America, we must and we are allowed by law to question authority in the proper educated way and in a peaceful way. Yes, I understand that. But while we're having a great conversation, we just want to make sure that while we're talking about this topic, somehow while we're talking about it, we find some justice for all the parties in this case. Because it's pretty wrecking for some families in this case, the injustice that at this day we see with the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case. So let's go through the materials. Let's go to the materials. Let's see what they had in this latest hearing. We're gonna go over it. That's the best we can for the time we got. We're gonna get to a conclusion of whatever we're gonna talk about here today, and then we will come back because again, I'm opening schedule for live streaming because it was requested by the community. So due to it was requested by the community to open up a line of schedule to at least if even though I don't schedule it, but if I have time to pop up and be here, I will do that. Cause I see the need of having a proper, adequate conversation about this case. Cause I understand that everywhere you go here in YouTube, true crime is like different type of vibe, different type of move, different type of characters. But I totally understand that due to my position in this case, especially being very, very humbly correct from the very top of this case, far as many details that I have shared about this case, that it will all behind a wall of gag order, the little by little they've been coming out. And then even though if I was the only one here sitting just having chat with y'all, giving y'all curveballs, giving y'all fastballs, giving y'all, the conversation that we put together here together. And you know me, in a way, I hit him where it hurts. It's because I use the same public information share long time ago. They was put in the gag order. And people act like, dude, do you not remember that we spoke about this back then? The videos are there. The videos are being coming out little by little. I got more clips, more live streams. I have more anything and everything and anything that it will come out. We packaging everything up to give it to you, all the titles that you have been missing. Because again, I totally understand that now that the channel is growing, it's time to bring all the files out. Is all this stuff that, because listen, I like to let the content creators know. Listen, when you speak, I listen. Right or wrong, and when you speak, I listen. Agree or disagree, I listen. And some of y'all need to understand that all that bullshit that y'all talk about me back then, at this day today, I don't want to hear no apologies. I don't want to hear no all the bullshit. Listen, all those content creators that went to a side that, yo, Jrod never say the sources or whatever he talked about and da 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 da. Let's not stand behind him because what he's saying, he's not even showing me how he knows it and this and that. And just because he's not sharing how he work, just because he's not sharing the recipe or how he put his true crime together, his sources and everything, just because I don't share those things, this is why y'all don't come around me. And then now, little by little, y'all been showing your ass that I was right all along. Y'all don't even want to give credit. Y'all ignore, try to act like it's not even here. Like you're the only one ignoring this shit because everyone inside of your chat know what the fuck we talking about here. So when y'all talk the shit that y'all talk about over there, now people is comparing what it makes sense since 2022, which content creator. How about y'all watch those content creators that used to say that Bryan Kohberger was guilty? Oh, we allowed to switch sides. I mean, it's not about size, but are we allowed to change our? You know what I'm saying? Are we allowed to change our mind without being challenged with the thoughts that makes you change your mind? Because if the argument was in the beginning when Bryan Kohberger got arrested that he was guilty, yada yada yada, boo-hoo, cry baby cheese. But then now, a good 50% that thought that Bryan Kohberger was guilty, because we have sat here and opened the doors to benefit of the doubt. We have sat here, and because one is doing it, one is doing it. Now it's cool for you to do it because the one was always right. I get goosebumps when I'm talking to you like this. And it's cool with me, those that want to come back and be like, hey, yeah, I thought Bryan Kohberger was guilty, but I changed my mind. Why you change your mind when Jrod Point was the only one spreading the good seed since 2022? Because meanwhile, even those on the fence, now you cannot even claim your positive takes down. Like, yeah, hey, I believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent because persecution and everything that he has come out. This shit don't look good. You're not even allowed to claim your fucking thoughts as you could be right now. Like, oh, now you okay? Now you all right? Now Jrod point not crazy. Now you now that one email, huh? I'm not gonna say who, but now the email that I sent you in 2022 makes sense now, huh? Yeah, it was me, and I want to make sure that I'm the one that is gonna give my best pat on the back, because I know that I just keep doing my work. Make sure that someday justice come not just for Kiely Rodni, but for the Idaho folk. And I tell you what, I might not even have to get any other case if I don't see fit that that case need me. People that don't understand, listen, if you go 2 for 2 in cases, 2 for 2, you lean one side because you knew from the top, you knew from the top that you was right because you did the homework for you to know that you right. It don't matter who said that I wasn't right in the chat. In the Kindly Rodney case, when I was a very beginner in the true crime community, exploring the ground, just speaking the truth. Case still open at this day today. While people's with the crybaby cheer, hey, that case is closed. Shut up. Idaho 4 case. Hey, Brian, the day that Bryan Kohberger got arrested, we went live here, me and Amy Conway and a few others. I felt the temperature in the chat that we all knew that Bryan Kohberger was not the guy. It was some moderators that it was some moderators that they like, hey Jay, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm sure. The day that Bryan Kohberger got arrested, we said here. I went live right away, and I literally asked, what the fuck y'all doing? And we're here almost 3 years later, 3 years later, and now 3 years later, even Bryan Kohberger case looking in the way it looks today, that is more favorable to Bryan Kohberger, is evidence that is hanging on the thread of the judge being the one accepting the evidence, even though it shouldn't be accepted, and again push it to trial that way with the backup of the court. But then the problem here is that if what is found by law the court should not accept, then that litigation, it goes all the way up to the sky. Because every decision district court have to take, it has to be by the book and backed up by early case law. Has to be backed up. They just cannot just accept evidence that actually is breaking the law. Is people indictable shit, especially when he's proven facts. If we get there, Cyril bring whatever facts he got, and Taylor whatever facts the investigators had. Whatever alter suspect evidence that they might have. Because I tell you what, though, people need to be very, very afraid. And those vandals, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'm gonna raise that alert of consciousness for those vandals in the University of Idaho. This message is for you. Beware. Fair warning. Beware. Because if Syray legally get to have all the cell phone data that the state couldn't get, and the defense team could get all that data that is missing from the chat rooms and Snapchat, if Syray and Ann Taylor get to all that data that the government and the state ignore, and they could even start a whole new case, like here, you're welcome, bye, case dismissed. If I were ya, listen, do not leave the state of Idaho, because if you leave the state of Idaho after this fair warning, and beware, if you leave the state of Idaho, that's you. But what y'all need to be afraid of and terrified is what Syray, because again, now the judge is getting frisky now. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I'm in the zone now. I'm in the zone. The judge is getting frisky, talking all that yak. Yeah, you heard me. It hit different with Jrod on point is getting in the zone. It hit different. It fucks with you. Like, who the fuck is talking like that? It's Jrod on point. So now the judge is getting frisky and talking shit about Syray in open court. Like, hold on. Like, dog, do you know who you talking to? Big shout out to Syray. It hit different. Big shout out to Syray. I gotta say it again. Big shout out, and it hit different. Big shout out to Syray and all the family. Big shout out, respect from On Point True Crime. Big shout out, and it hit different when we send a shout out to Syray. It hit different. People need to start doing homework. Get to work. Stop being you lazy. Stop being lazy. Get to work. Do your homework. Do your homework on Syray. Stop playing with people's names. When you in certain levels, when you in certain authority, you cannot down speak on a man just because you don't like what that man put in front of you for you to acknowledge, because even you is wrong. Authority, and I give you the authority, don't like to be challenged. Authority never likes to be challenged. Never. But it's all about how you challenge. That challenge has to be in peace. That challenge has to make sense. That's why we see a whole bunch of protests that don't make no sense out here in the United States of America. A lot of protests that it don't make no sense. Is many other ways to go about it. You know, it's no need to be out there protesting, unnecessarily putting people's life at risk for a cause they shouldn't even be followed. We see that a lot in the United States of America these days, unfortunately. Fight for your rights. Fight for your rights, but please make sure that you fight for your rights the right way. It's always a peaceful way to go about things. It's always a legal way to go about things. That's my take on that. But when the judge sat there and said what he said about Cyril, even though I don't know Cyril like that, but just with the little homework that I had done on the case and about his expertise, his credits and performance, top notch, state of mind, sharp, good person, good man, good human being. Nothing bad to say about Cyril at all. And y'all know me, I'm one of those. One of those that I like to dig out dirt. You know me. I like to dig out dirt. And this man is crispy clean, man. Crispy clean. Top notch. Good man. Good collaborator. Big shout out to him and his family. But I could only imagine what was his. Oh, okay. So it's like the judge is gonna try to put these men there, like. Oh, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's like Cyril was not watching that one hearing when Judge Hitler got the case. Or Cyril was not on Zoom. Or Cyril was not aware that that hearing was about to occur. Oh, okay, he probably was not there in person, but you damn sure know and should know that he was paying attention and listening to every word that it came out of your mouth, Mr. Judge Hitler. You best believe that Cyril paid attention, took notes, and made every single conscious decision to write that report. In the other hand, the judge is throwing dirt on Cyril, on Cyril credibility, like Cyril say something wrong in that report. No, that report is letting you know that a frank hearing was supposed to be granted because it's the defense team have everything they need. They will grant a frank hearing. I want to make sure that everyone understand that the defense team give exactly what Judge Hitler needed. It met the standard to go to a frank hearing. Something that y'all don't know, a frank hearing also could force the prosecution to bring out every little last discovery they might still possess that they're about to utilize in trial. Because in certain facts, they will come out and the frank hearing that they will have to be backed up by the prosecution discovery. And at that moment, it has to come out. If the prosecution cannot prove, it's a wrap. They get caught. The judge knew that. The judge acknowledged enough in court to know that the frank hearing was needed. He still did not grant the frank hearing. He forced the issue. Judge Hitler is been forcing the issue since day one. Now, little by little, I'm start getting the reason of why he was disliking him, of his dislike of him taking care of this case. He made sure that he knew that his dislike for this case, and it's starting to make sense. Starting to make sense with the decisions that he taking, giving the advantage to the prosecution, skipping a process that is needed in this case to make sure that every single step and due process was taken. That's it. If you had this man cook, you prove it. You show that you got this man cooked the right way. But if while we showing the whole process step by step that was taken or was not taken, it shows intention. Due to that process did not never occur, the prosecution still get the good benefit of the doubt, even though it looks that bad. But the court is giving them the pat on the back, the attaboy, to move forward. Then they get hit with a siren report, letting them know, like, hey, I don't know. If I were you, read the merits of this case. Read the transcript. Do your homework. Pay attention. I believe that everything Siren put on that report, I believe to the 100% that he could back that data up. Because I believe they all recognize exactly what they did, how they did it, when they did it, that they focus on Bryan Kohberger and did committed crimes, falsified documents, lied to the magistrate. If you ask me, the magistrate was complicit either way, anyway, whatever they could have spit, they could have hot tour the prosecution and investigators, the FBI could have hot tour in court, and they would have signed those warrants. Facts. People don't like to hear that word facts. People don't like that. How you know it's a fact? Bitch, because I know. Shut the fuck up. It's for you to do your homework. Do your homework. Shut the fuck up. You don't like it? Click out. For those that don't like, for me saying the word facts. Because if you realize all these people that are involved in the investigation and the processing of warrants and all this other stuff, is people that they know each other in some other higher level. They just total strangers working for the same cause. No, all these people they all know each other. They're all cool. They all cool. They work together. It's called a state. But in this case, it is not a whole bunch of strangers. It's they all own loyalty to the University of Idaho some way, somehow, through fraternities and sororities and all this other Greek community, yada 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 yada. They all part of it. What are you talking about? That's a fact. If you go through the records, you see that every single person that is taking care of this case is part of the Greek community. Who the fuck you talking to? I get goosebumps when I talk about this shit. Every single person, including Ann Taylor, is part of the Greek life. Every single person. The victims were part of the Greek life. They were living in the Greek life community. For what it seems, Greek like members, students of the University of Idaho, committed this crime. not Bryan Kohberger, for what it seems at this day today, because Mary in that 7 minute window forgot to add that Bryan Kohberger was somewhere the fuck else. You fucking idiot. Thank you. Call again. Come back and buy. Literally, come back and buy. I hope people is paying attention to this case. I really do. I hope people is really paying attention to this case. I want to say that like in everywhere, it's a 50-50. It is 50% of the Greek community that is good. It's a 50% of the Greek community, Greek life that is not good. I cut them right down the middle. I'll be fair with you. I believe it's 50-50. I just hope that that good 50-50 of the Greek life community do the right thing to fix this mess. And when I mean fix it, is actually get to the conclusions in court to open up a window of freedom for Bryan Kohberger. So like that, these other suspects could be looked at, even though they be looked at later. If you ask me, 3 years too late. But if at least we could have justice for the Idaho 4, Kiely, Maddie, Ethan, and Santa, and their families, even though some of them it looks like they don't even want justice from their own kids. It seems like that's I'm speaking for what they showing. Oh, not everybody, are just paying the same. Well, I'm a parent too. And I know how much I love my kids. And if I was them, I would go cuckoo for cocoa puff to get to the truth. I don't know who you're talking to. I really don't when you think about me. I don't know who the fuck you're talking to. I would be going cocoa for cocoa puff and shit would be flipping down the stairs somewhere, everywhere, somewhere around the world. Shit would be popping to make sure that the real and truth of whoever committed this crime against my child, it comes to the light legally. Some way, somehow, I'm flipping shit up legally. And if I have to do it by myself and my family members, we'll get to the motherfucking bottom by ourselves. Well, it's no problem. We giving to the authorities. We all the evidence that we got. It wouldn't be no motherfucking problem. I'll make sure they'll get there to the police station alive, so he uh live his sentence and do justice and do process. Do it the right way by the book. But in a way, shit has been looking from that side of the fence of the parents that never contact us and hiding from us and not want to talk and you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, that guy Jrod, huh, Mr. G? That guy Jrod. I heard how you talk about me, Mr. Stephen G. It's all good, man. That guy Jrod. Listen, man, I approach you to talk to you because I'm a parent just like you, man. I'm a parent just like you. And if we everyone if we anyone from everyone you should be talking to is me, man. Especially if you really want justice for your daughter. Because obviously it seems that all that shit that you say that you don't know nothing because you know the same state narrative and you backing up the state narrative and that state narrative, Mr. G, is looking real bad right now. Hopefully one day you reach back and we go have this conversation because if you really care about your daughter, you wouldn't be trying to hide and especially from another parent like myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it different when a content creator reach to talk to a parent of a victim, but they're not even a parent. They don't even got kids of the ages of the victims. I do. I do. I could totally 100% relate and understand everything that is going on since back then all the way to now. I have processed mad information from total strangers that I never thought that I had to process and keep on my memory, and so I could come here and talk to y'all about everything with some common sense. Believe me, I have reached out. Big shout out to Kara. We keep Kara in a very special place in our heart. We keep Kara in a very special place in our heart because when she reached out, she was looking for help. She was not looking for clout. She was not looking to be out here. She was just looking for the information that she knew I have and I share. And we agree in a lot of things. We disagree in few, but we agree more than what we disagree. And those disagreements, the outer suspects were on those conversations. And that's something that me and Kara agree. We always agree on the outer suspects. Kara never believed about a Bryan Kohberger doing nothing to her daughter. And as everyone just got to find out after all that conversation, about Bryan Kohberger harassing the victim somehow through social media and all this other stuff, yada yada yada, all devices from the victims and associates, okay? So that means that it was some kind of scope. It was no internet relation, no internet click, no internet nothing, no cell phone, nothing between Bryan Kohberger, the victims, and close peers. And hopefully y'all heard this right. It's no click, it's no internet data with connection between the victims and Bryan Kohberger. No others. So all those content creators that were talking that yak, and you know what though? Sometimes I have to let them know that I'm paying attention. Sometimes I just have to let them know so like that they know. But it's a content creator, it's a female content creator out there that is the same female content creator that we had dealt with for a long time. She harassed and abused one of our biggest supporters. She harassed and abused one of our supporters. Her name back then, when she used to support us, her name was Muse News. By the time the content war started with that crazy lady, Muse News used to come here to our chat and show us love and support through it all. This one psycho female content creator that we well know torture that old lady, torture for a long time to the point that she made her quit. tortured that old lady online to the point that she made it quit. She made it quit content. She was a tarot reader. Good lady too. From the Kiely Rodni case. Just coming to my channel to show love. Muse News. The real Muse News. This psycho, crazy, type pedo, harass, torture this old lady online so bad that this old lady is gone from YouTube. And guess what? This fucking psychopath lady that he been going cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, talking shit about the whole true crime community because no one gives a fuck about what the fuck she talking about. Keep crying on her channel about no one fucking cares about me. Yeah, we know. We know. Stop crying. Find something to do. Get your life. Get going. Find something to do. No one cares. Boo-hoo. But that same psychopath, now, after she tortured not just Larissa Slaughter and got it out of YouTube, torture Muse News and many others that are not here with us no more, like Square Nuts. They got tired of the harassment and all this shit that came out of this psycho. But they're now going back to Muse News. This fucking psycho now, after changing so many names on her fucking stupid channel, now the motherfucker's doing the same thing that Dylan Mortensen is doing in this case. She claiming Muse News name because Muse News got tormented and abused online by her because she was supporting Jrod on point to the point that the lady's not no longer around. And now the same psycho is utilizing that lady name that she harassed and abused for a long time. Made her quit YouTube. And now the idiot is using the same fucking name now. You're a psycho. You claim you victims. In the same way Dylan Mortensen claimed her victims, getting the same tattoo on her body that the victims had. That's claiming a victim. People don't get this shit. I just want to acknowledge that because there's some psycho content creators out there that is going to use many ways, many accounts, many to act like multiple different people harassing you, but he's the same motherfucker. I just want to make sure that everyone remember that, and don't you forget that I'm very vigilant and I watch everything you motherfucking do. And that goes to this fucking idiot. Cause you need to know. I know and I don't forget. I don't forgive. I don't forget none of this shit that you said or did to not just me, my family, but your own family and everyone in YouTube that has been harassed by you. You're fucking sicko. And you don't belong in YouTube True Crime. And everybody in the whole community know. And whoever goes to your show, one day they were gonna get to know what kind of pedo you are, and with proof and truth, and they're gonna look at you stupid. Stupid. So let's continue. Big shout out to the people watching. Let's get to the meat and potato what we came here after we acknowledge the stupidity of the true crime community and shit like that. Hopefully, little by little, we keep, you know what I'm saying, filtering the true crime community. So all those crazy psychopaths that literally are here just to harass the people that don't care about them. Oh, you don't acknowledge me. That was my idea. No, bitch. You like you're a psycho. You say you're original, but you over here using the name of your own victims on your channels. You crazy, you cuckoo, and you shouldn't be here. That's just my opinion. So let's continue, ladies and gents. Let's get to the meat and potato of what we came here, so we could have this chit chat.
Kohberger, CR 0124-31665. We have representing the state, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, and Mr. Horowitz. And for the defense, we have Ms. Taylor, Ms. Massoff, and Ms. Barlow. Ms. Barlow and Mr. Horowitz, welcome to the fray. I think I saw you back there. And Mr. Nye is here as well. I apologize for missing you there, Mr. Nye. All right. Today we have a number of motions to get through. What we don't get through today, we will take up tomorrow. You should have received by email a listing of score sheet of the motions and a rough order that will take those up in, separated into groups. Within the groups, we may not stick exactly to order, and we may take up several within a group if they're related at the same time. And so with that, let's take up defendants' motions in limine regarding inflammatory evidence, use of the term murder, and use of the term psychopath or sociopath.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm guessing from the court's comments, the court wants me to address all three of those. I'll do that then. Your Honor, the motions are brought to the court based on Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights and the rules of evidence and relevant case law. With regard to the inflammatory evidence, that is requesting that the court issue an order preventing the state from trying its case with an emotional appeal or an excessive use of emotional phrasing or an excessive use of repetitive photographs. Certainly,
What they try to do with this motion is for the effect of how bad the publicity is being against Bryan Kohberger in social media, in the news media outlets. He been mischaracterized. So whatever the majority of people know is whatever they've been told by news media outlets, us YouTube true crime content creators, big or small. Pause, no Diddy. So not a lot of people take time to do homework. Not a lot of people even care enough about a case to actually take time of their day to actually even get to the details of a case. They literally browse through whatever other person said. Literally. That's what the majority of people do because they don't have time to get into the meats and potatoes like we have time to get into. So the only thing that they know about the true crime commentary on the case is whatever they actually heard when they browse, and not by any type of extracurricular search, research, or any type of study about the topic. So the jury is gonna be already in jeopardy as we speak and for a long time, the damage that it has been done to a jury pool, a future jury pool in this case, is unrepairable. And in the only way to repair that is making sure that the court, the prosecution takes steps to be fair, take steps that will back up whatever evidence you bring to court. The only thing, big shout out to Joanne. Thank you so much for being here. Very appreciate it. Big shout out to Joanne from Utah. Thank you for being here. Very appreciate it. So, Joanne, we're talking about like the first motion of this case. Very simple motion. They just want the prosecution to be adequate. They just want to make sure the prosecution base their commentary on truth and facts of whatever they have, you know? So they don't want to enter in theatrics that it will gas the already opinion the jury might have already, the perception that they might already have about this case. To the bad actors they could be within the jury, the bad actors in the jury, it could give those signals of like what you need to pay attention to. You know, it's way that the prosecution in conversations on what they say and how they say it will inflammate, and it will confirm or reassure a thought that you already had in your mind, a thought that you already they was lingering in your mind, and you train a thought. A conversation could activate and aggravate those thoughts. And that's for the jury. So in this case, when Ann Taylor bring this motion, the only thing that she's trying to do is not telling the prosecution how to prosecute, but she's telling the prosecution with this motion is beware. Is putting the prosecution on notice, and they're gonna be measuring how fair or not fair, or how just or not just the prosecution is gonna be handling this case when they're referring towards the character or characteristics of Bryan Kohberger within this case. The Ann Taylor know and seeing the public opinion about Bryan Kohberger and the way he's been treated in the media and whatnot, and the way his family been treated or whatnot. And with this type of motions, she try to clean that up a little bit to give Bryan Kohberger a better opportunity, a better chance for a better defense, if that makes sense to you. Big shout out to Joanne. Thank you so much for being here. Very so much. I appreciate it. We got Joanne here in the chat. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. How Joanne is doing today. Joanne, what you think? What you think about if you're still here? Big shout out to Amy Conway. Amy Conway still here. Joanne, see if Joanne's still here. But this go to Amy Conway and Joanne if you're still here. Uh, what's your feelings on this motion? Was it worth the motion? Was it worth this quiz? Um, in my opinion, it does, because it grounds the prosecution, and it give them a heads up of watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about Bryan Kohberger in court, watch your mouth. Because if you take it too much to the left, too much to the right, you might fall. What's your opinion, Amy? Let me know. And Joanne, let me know what's your opinion on that. We're gonna keep playing because I already give you a little introduction of the motion. Let me know how you feel about it.
We understand that there will be photographs that we may not like that come in, testimony that we may not like that will come in. But what we're talking about is an excessive use of emotional appeal. That the examples that we've seen in relevant case law come from State versus Ellington. In that case, the prosecutor repeatedly used a phrase that was inflammatory about the defendant having run over the wife of a witness who was testifying. And that was found to be inflammatory because of the excessive use of that phrase. Additionally, in that case, there was an appeal to juror emotion when the state sought testimony from a witness about why he might have left his job. Those are examples of what we're talking about. The court has to do the rules of evidence balancing test, and to do that after the state has elicited inflammatory testimony is difficult to undo and puts Mr. Kohberger in a position where the jury's already been inflamed, and so we're seeking to prevent that. Your Honor, I will move then to our motion regarding the murder term. This motion is also based in Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights to due process and to a fair trial. This is not a motion to ask the state not to use the term murder. That's going to come out when the court reads to the jury the charging document. That's going to come out in jury instructions. This motion is about the state, through its witnesses, labeling Mr. Kohberger. That invades the province of the jury. Mr. Kohberger sits here today. He's innocent, and it's up to the state to bring evidence and a jury to decide if that's different. The state, by using that kind of term as applied to Mr. Kohberger, gets in the way of what the jury needs to decide. Back when we were looking at a change of venue in this case, we worked with a social scientist named Dr. Amani El Aleli, and she talked a lot about how bias is made in people and how we think about things and how we remember things. And one of the things she talked about, and her report is in the court record, one of the things she talked about is the influence of people in a position of authority. And for the state to come in and label Mr. Kohberger in their position of authority, or ask a witness, especially a witness in uniform, to do so, is very detrimental. It's inflammatory to Mr. Kohberger, and it would...
Outside of opening statements, perhaps, where the state might say, we intend to prove the defendant murdered the victims, perhaps in reference in voir dire, that, in this case, the defendant is accused of murder. I'm having a trouble understanding how this would come up during the evidence phase of things.
Your Honor, that's why I'm asking the court to issue an order to prevent it from coming up.
Sounds like you're asking me to issue an order that says the state shall not commit prosecutorial misconduct, or the parties will follow the rules of evidence.
Your Honor, I would like an order that the parties will follow the rules of evidence.
I'm sure the state would like one too.
I'm not going to oppose that, Your Honor. We'll get to the state's motion.
I don't think I need an order because, as the name implies, they are rules, which means they will be followed.
Your Honor, in an abundance of caution, we bring these motions, and that's based on review of case law and based on years of experience when things happen in trial. I found and I believe that it's relevant to bring these kinds of motions before the court now and have all of the parties aware of.
I think there's maybe a difference between bringing them to make sure that the issues are highlighted and the parties are vigilant versus perhaps entering sort of prescriptive orders that are so broad and vague in nature that they are essentially meaningless.
Your Honor, this is my opportunity and the place that is reserved for the defense to bring these motions. I think that they're important motions, and with court's orders, it makes it more clear. Even if the court order isn't spelling out, you can't say this, you can't do that. I think there's an awareness, and I think it's relevant to have that order. I think it's important to have that order. And most of all, I think it's protective of Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights to have that order. That's our request with regard to.
Address sociopath or psychopath? Doesn't
Yes,
seem
I'd like
the
to
state
address.
was intending to go there, but you're welcome to address it.
Your Honor, if the state is stipulating not to use those terms, I don't need to make a full argument on that, but I'm prepared to do so. I'll be brief. Then with that, we brought this motion again under Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights to a fair trial and due process of law. This motion is really spelled out in Dr. John Eden's affidavit when he talks about the unreliability of tests that might label somebody in that particular way and the danger of having that label applied to somebody. If that's allowed to happen, then Mr. Kohberger is colored with an opinion or a way the jury will view him that is unfair. And our request is that the court not allow the state to label him in testimony as a psychopath or a sociopath, because any kind of testing is unreliable. That would relate to, or that would become problematic within the rules of evidence to do so, and the inflammatory nature of those kinds of labels would.
I'm not aware of any testing that has been done that has reached that conclusion. Am I missing something?
You are not missing anything. There has not been any testing. There has not been any labeling. This, again, is my opportunity to bring a preventative motion to protect Mr. Kohberger's constitutional rights.
So as we speak today, as we speak at this day today, right? No one in the media, no one in YouTube, no one, news media outlets, legacy media, no one should be referring to Bryan Kohberger as some type of psycho, or even put him in the same likes of a psychopath or a psychotic person. Is not applicable in the conversation. Is not applicable because even the judge recognized there is nothing that indicates that Bryan Kohberger is a psychopath or psychotic or any that type of guy. It's not even previous aggravators they will indicate that. For those that like to talk about previous aggravators in the Bryan Kohberger case. So when Ann Taylor put that motion out, it's not just to quiet the prosecution under possible alternative for discussion on the possible techniques that they might utilize for prosecution, but it cleans it up a little bit. It cleans it up a little bit. Because like that, it brings facts and truth to Bryan Kohberger character through the assassination character process that he's been going through since day one. Even the judge confirmed, yeah, There's no need to call him that or whatnot because he's not. So those news media outlets that refer to Bryan Kohberger as a psychopath, as a psycho, it's like, okay, is no reason, is no connection with the victims and no reason for this guy to do what they say he did. It's actually evidence and truth that it shows the guy was not even in Idaho when the crimes occurred. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Is evidence, is truth, and evidence that exonerate Bryan Kohberger. As we speak, is truth and evidence that exonerate Bryan Kohberger. And that right there should amaze a lot of people when they come across the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case. It's proof and truth and evidence that the guy was not even in Idaho, did not cross state lines. Because in the 7-minute window that they talk about, the guy was not even in the state. But that somehow got excluded. That somehow did not get to the CAD cell phone data that was presented on the secret grand indictment. Am I cooking? So literally with these motions, is putting truth to facts. Like, you cannot call him a murderer because at this day today he's not, and it's proof and truth that it shows that he's not. The court is the one hesitating of the truth. The ones that don't want to accept the truth. Because if Hitler would accept the truth, this case is over. Hitler is the only one that is holding on to this case, delaying justice for the victims. Because they keep playing with Bryan Kohberger in court, delaying justice to get to the real killers. Wasting taxpayer money, wasting time. The justice could be happening. Am I the only one? So this is what Ann Taylor is doing out here. Not just telling us, the people, but the whole world. Listen, Bryan Kohberger is not a psycho. He's not a psychopath. Because you know what? The person that they are trying to talk about is someone that don't have no type of connection with the victims, nor their peers. Was not even in the state. But we have a Bryan Kohberger here in court for the past 3 years playing with him in his life. Do that make any sense to you? This is United States of America. This not can be happening here in United States of America. Not here in the no, not here, not in United States of America states or any territory. That must and cannot happen in no territory of United States of America. There is evidence out there that is exonerating this guy as this day today. And they still here in court playing with the guy's name. So Ann Taylor, the only way she could stop all that nonsense is making sure that she put motions that she will have hearings for, live hearings that she put out there in the world hemisphere for everyone to listen to. They stop saying that Bryan Kohberger is a psycho or a psychopath, because guess what? That's the only narrative that the prosecution could bring to the table, and Ann Taylor is chopping their narrative about Bryan Kohberger from the top. With all these motions, she's chopping everything off the top. Like you cannot You know what I mean? Because he's no fact, no truth on that. And that gave the right message to the prosecution. Like, you're going to have to stick to your evidence. Because it's sad and crazy to say that as we speak, and Taylor don't have full discovery from the prosecution, and with whatever little bit that they got from the prosecution that they haven't go through it yet, but with whatever they have go through, this case look bad against the prosecution in the way it looks, but they still holding on to it in court. Like, yeah, we got so much other critical evidence that don't have nothing to do with this. Like, yeah, the prosecution gonna say that, but when it comes time of truth, we'll see.
And that's the purpose of that motion. Thank you.
Thompson?
Thank you, Your Honor. And as the court is aware from the responses that we filed, Mr. Nye and I actually kind of divided these motions up. We didn't realize they would be heard together. But as to the inflammatory evidence, what the court has noted is exactly what our concerns are. In the defendant's filings, he doesn't specify what inflammatory evidence he's concerned about. He doesn't define the phrase exceptionally inflammatory, nor are we aware of any definition of that. The words just seem to be used loosely and freely here. And in fact, in the defendant's reply, he acknowledges at page 2 that he really doesn't even know what he's trying to object to. He's asking the court to presume that something's going to happen or anticipate something without a basis for it. We don't see any basis for the court to enter an order. We intend to conduct our trial professionally, and we anticipate that if there are questions about anything that we do, that there will be a timely objection and the court can address it in that fashion. So our prayer to the court is the court deny the request for orders that the defendant has made and simply preserve the defendant's opportunity to object if something of concern comes up in the future.
Your Honor, just briefly, the purpose of using exceptionally inflammatory is used in conjunction with our recognition that in case law, photographs that we might not like will come into evidence. Exceptionally is to define what we mean. And we mean when it's over the top, when it's unnecessary, when it's going to inflame the passions of the jury, and that tips the scale of relevance. We don't know exactly how the state's going to try its case. We do know there are over 13,000 photographs, hundreds of hours of videotape, and many, many witnesses who the state will call to testify. We believe that it is imperative that we have an order to prevent the case being tried in a way that presents inflammatory evidence and appeals to emotions for the jury.
In other words, whenever you're gonna come and bring a picture like that type of manner, whenever you're gonna bring a video to be presented or a picture, let's make sure that we have a proper, adequate reason for it, so we're not out here putting propaganda to feed the jury in a negative way. Let's continue. Big shout out to everyone in the chat. Talk to me in the chat.
All right, the standard for motions in limine, which I'm about to set forth, applies to most motions today that we will address today, and I don't intend to repeat this with each motion, but for the record, let me go through it once. Evidence is relevant if it has any tendency to make the existence of any fact that is of consequence to the determination of an action more probable or less probable than it would be without the evidence. All evidence, all relevant evidence is admissible except as otherwise provided by the rules of evidence or other applicable laws of the court or of the state. Although relevant evidence may be excluded if its probative value is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice, confusion of the issues, misleading of the jury, or by considerations of undue delay, waste of time, or needless presentation of cumulative evidence. The question of whether evidence is relevant is a question of law to be reviewed de novo, while the decision to admit relevant evidence is reviewed for an abuse of discretion. On discretionary matters, the trial court must correctly perceive the issue as one of discretion, act within the outer boundaries of its discretion, act consistently with the legal standards applicable to the specific choices available to it, and reach its decision by the exercise of reason. So my concern with the motions is not the substance of them, in the sense that I think it's appropriate to highlight those issues that everybody should be cognizant of. It's in fashioning an order that has any real meaning, because of the breadth and lack of specificity of the motions. With respect to the use of terms psychopath or sociopath, I do understand that there is no evidence that the defendant specifically has been tested and found to be with that diagnosis or personality disorder, if you will. And I understand the state is not intending to, at this point, seek to attach that label. Absent evidence, competent forensic evidence, if you will, qualified expert evidence, and I haven't worked all the way through penalty phase, and I suppose that could come up in penalty phase of things, but for now, certainly for the guilt phase, innocence phase of the trial, I am ordering that the state and its witnesses not use those two terms or their equivalents. If something happens where you believe a door has been opened before launching into that in front of the jury, you are also required to bring that to my attention outside the presence of the jury. With respect to the term murder, well, let me start with the term murder. So I don't, obviously the jury is going to be charged with what the charge is, or our charges are in this case, which include first-degree murder. I don't think there's any problem in using the term murder as it describes the charges and the allegations. Testimony or statements by counsel or by others that the defendant is a murderer or committed murder, I think would be essentially argumentative in nature at this point. I will tell you that the one thing that will get my dander up quickly is either counsel attempting to argue outside the one opportunity they have to argue in a case like this, which is closing. And I will shut you down faster than you can imagine if I see that. And if I see it again, I will admonish you in front of the jury about it, because I'm serious about not arguing in your questioning or statements or comments between questions and nature of that. And so that would also go with the term murder, I think, to the extent that it reaches a conclusion that the defendant committed murder prior to the closing. Now, certainly the allegation that the defendant committed murder is going to be relevant and probably appropriate in opening statements, perhaps even in voir dire. But apart from that, if you're intending to go there, you need to bring that to my attention outside the presence of the jury. And that's obviously important. Both of those are important to make sure your witnesses understand as well. With respect to inflammatory evidence, I don't know what that is until I see it. Certainly there are rules regarding prosecutorial misconduct. I think counsel is likely well-versed in what those rules are. I'm not one that says I'm going to order that you follow the rules. You are counsel licensed professionally by the bar, admitted to this court. Your obligation is to follow the rules. And that is what I expect of counsel. And so any attempts to skirt the rules without a good faith basis to do so will be problematic. In terms of, and I think really where there's some potential gristle, meat on the bone here, I should say, relates to, I suppose, the photographs or videos of the decedents and the state of the crime scene. This, I would imagine, from what I've seen, some of those photographs are particularly graphic, but make no mistake, these murders, whoever committed them, were brutal and were horrific. And so I suspect that the evidence will reflect that. Now,
I wanna highlight that right there. I wanna highlight when the judge said, whoever committed this crime, it was horrific and it was brutal. I want you to keep that in your mind. You know why? Because the type of noise that is made, the type of noise that is made through and after, and this type of crime scene, it was brutal and it was horrific. Anyone inside of that residence knew what was going on. Everyone around the immediate neighbors knew what was going on inside the house because the screams, the begging for help, the commotion, the in and out the house. People knew that something was happening, something bad was happening in that house before 4 o'clock. I want everyone to understand that people talk about 4 o'clock. The state have the time of death throw by hour. Because they thinking from 4 to 5. No, it's from 3 to 4 and on. Because after the crime is committed, it's a lot of collaborators collaborating to not just clean, but tamper with a crime scene. The third floor, the stairs towards the third floor, the second floor, the first floor, the whole house is a crime scene right after the crime occurred. Anything that will alter the state after the crime was committed is illegal. It cannot be tempered. It cannot be played with. It cannot be altered. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Yeah, the judge has denied all the motions of the defense. In my opinion, The neighbors heard everything, knew everything, but everybody's on the hush hush like that. That's not their problem. It's not their business. If they say that they know anything or know anything, they will get in trouble with the community, their community, because this situation is handled by their council, not the peons. In this case, from the very beginning, is being handled by the powers to be in that area. To have the power to move the needle in this investigation in the way they did, they literally, with no proof, they invented and created some kind of narrative to make someone look like, yeah, this is the guy. Because the only truth that we could talk about is a white Elantra, that we got proof that, let's say, a white car, that it looks like a white Elantra. So let's say it's a white Elantra. We got videos of it and this and that, but and we have a touch DNA. Touch DNA, yeah, touch DNA in the sheath. While is other male DNA lingering around the house, consistent. Now, I need you to understand the word is very important. Consistent with the crime scene and time of death, even with the wrong time of death, is consistent. That DNA sample did not happen previous. That DNA samples did not happen with the skin cells under Maddie's nails. That DNA sample is consistent with the time. The freshness is consistent around the time of the killing. But the state try to make it look like is Maddie's boyfriend's skin cells, and she's a scratcher, they boyfriend and girlfriend. Giving the boyfriend DNA or someone else's DNA an excuse to be there. Not necessarily because she was being attacked and she got the opportunity to scratch or probably wound her attacker, ultimately her killer. All killers. People need to have a proper conversation of what is out here in this case. People forget a lot. People miss information in this case, and sometimes they do it purposely to not even talk about it because it might even not be concluded with their conclusions. And it's gonna make it, and then now they're gonna have, oh, I gotta change, you know what I mean? I used to think like this, I gotta change my thinking about this because actually I was paying attention to something, and they don't want to say they were paying attention to me. And it seems like this angle and da 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 da, and then yeah, and the people that come here to the chat is like, yeah, right. I gotta let y'all know I'm very, very humble to know that a lot of content creators, little by little, been getting to the right conclusions about this case that Bryan Kohberger could have not commit this killing. And for all those content creators that they used to think that Bryan Kohberger was guilty and now you on the other side of the fence, welcome. Welcome back to Common Sense. Hopefully you stay here. You know, big shout outs to y'all. It don't matter if we have talked or not talked before. If you change your mind because truth and facts, welcome. Let's continue.
Now, if it comes to cumulative evidence, or perhaps some that are unnecessarily graphic, we can address that on a case-by-case basis. And so I think the idea is before you show the evidence to the jury of that nature, that counsel be given a copy of that. Obviously, if you're going to be seeking to introduce those, they will be given a copy, and we can have a discussion outside the presence of the jury about how many, which, et cetera, will be presented. But I don't feel this really does anything it doesn't advance the ball for me to abstractly say, don't use inflammatory evidence. So I'm not going to do that. I will rely upon the obligations of counsel as professionals to understand their responsibilities. And when it comes to the specific actual evidence, then we can review that before it's presented to the jury.
So in other words, right? If it's no reason to show pictures and video of the victims or the crime scene, referring towards Bryan Kohberger, because again, the only thing that he puts Bryan Kohberger there in the crime scene is the IgG, and even the IgG is in question. The whole DNA thing is in question. Is unreliable. Is a poof. Like poof, here it is. It's one of those poof moments. What a coincidence that the DNA showed up, somehow touched DNA, while other samples of higher quality of DNA are available. They're ignoring the other DNAs around the house, and they focuses on the apparent touch DNA on the knife sheath. A knife sheath, he could not kill no one with a sheath. The wounds in the victims are not consistent with a K-bar. The thing that it kills me the most, and I hope people are listening and paying attention. Big shout out to everyone here. The things that bothers me the most is that the prosecution are trying to use the purchase of the K-bar that they found in Bryan Kohberger's house. How can you say that Bryan Kohberger bought a K-bar knife to commit this crime when the K-bar knife in question, and that you talk about this purchase, it was the same K-bar knife that you found in his father's residence? How evil and diabolical can you be to use a situation 8 months before the murderers happened? 8 months of a purchase of a K-bar that you retreat when you arrested Bryan Kohberger. A gun, retreat. A K-bar knife, retreat. I bet with the sheet, retreat. The item that you are talking about in question within these clicks of Amazon, the proof and truth, it has to be in inventory, because when you are arrested Bryan Kohberger, inventory was a K-bar knife. So that show proof of the purchase that he did 8 months ago, which is not the same sheath, which is not the same knife that is involved in this quadruple murder. You fucking idiots. You're fucking welcome. Why the fuck we not there yet? How do I know this, but no one else knows this? How do I know this, but no one else knows this? How can I know this, but no one else notice or even talk about it? That the same K-bar knife that they talk about in this Amazon purchase is the same K-bar knife that it was retrieved when Bryan Kohberger was arrested. Why you even using this knife? Why you even using this purchase to even mention it in court? It was 8 months before the killing, and the knife that is in the purchasing is right there on your inventory because y'all retrieved the item when he got arrested. If anybody have common sense, if anybody listening to these words that are coming out of my mouth on the rush hour shit, who have heard about the items that were retrieved when Bryan Kohberger got arrested? Those people that know the items that were collected when Bryan Kohberger was arrested. Big shout out to Amy Conway. It was a Glock 22, if I'm not mistaken, and a K-bar knife. And the purchase of that K-bar knife 8 months ago is there. And it's the same fucking thing that you talking about in court? Are you fucking serious? Is you fucking serious? How can no content creator but me talk about this type of shit? The K-bar on the receipts that they're talking about, that they say he purchased, got recovered when he got arrested. Why are we talking about this receipt? That K-bar didn't have nothing to do with the crime scene. It got recovered. Forensics done and everything just in case, and this K-bar with these other sheath did not have nothing to do with what happened to the Idaho fall. But they mentioning that purchase in court for what? And if Ann Taylor's not ready to combat that and be like, you know what, people, I don't know what y'all talking about this receipt from this K-bar 8 months before the killing, because the K-bar, y'all retreat the K-bar when he got arrested. And I bet you y'all did forensics and everything on it, DNA, IgG, everything on it. And y'all couldn't even use it. So what we talking about? Hopefully I'm Taylor ready for that one. Because if I know, she should know. I ain't nothing special. If I know, she should know. If you know that a K-bar we achieved was recovered when Bryan Kohberger was arrested, you know that the receipt that they talking about is that same K-bar that got retrieved. If you ever heard about the K-bar and the sheath recovered by the officers when Bryan Kohberger got arrested, it's the same K-bar and sheath that they talking about in court. It's the same. But they still go and use it just for effect, just to show to the court, misleading the court, like, yeah, oh, we had the receipt of this Amazon on this warrant that he bought a K-bar with a sheath and sharpener 8 months ago. Okay, so what we even talking about it? What you even presented it in court with the same K bar and sharpener and everything else got retrieved by officers in Pennsylvania. Why we even talking about this? Why you even as prosecution bringing it to the table when you have the K bar? Obviously, you have to have it. Oh, you cannot tell me that that K bar is still in Pennsylvania. Why that K bar is still in Pennsylvania? Where's Bryan Kohberger's legal Glock? Because that's a legal weapon. He's not charged with that. That's a lawful weapon that he owns. Where is all that? Because it should be on evidence, right? It should be on some kind of evidence, right? The K bar should be on some kind of evidence, right? So if you're as a prosecutor, oh yeah, the gloves. Let me not forget the gloves. They also recover a mask. Do you understand that? If you recover the mask and the K bar, if you recover, I want to make sure that everyone is listening. The state already recovered the mask and recovered a K bar that it was in that purchasing. The state have that already. Forensics on the mask, forensics on the knife, forensics on everything that they got out of the car, everything, shoes, clothes, everything and anything. No trace DNA from the victims, nowhere to be found. That have to mean something. Y'all cannot talk about this guy being expert on getting rid of DNA. That oh he's an expert on because again now he's so smart but so dumb. It cannot be two at the same time. You cannot be that smart but they're so dumb. You cannot be that smart of knowing how to get rid of DNA, but you left your touch DNA on the button on the sheath. That it do not is it goes against the human law, the unspoken human laws of common sense. No blood, no morphine, nothing. People need to be very serious when they speak about this case because they think it's all about pushing narrative that don't make no sense. At this day today, is no evidence that Bryan Kohberger committed this crime. None. Because whatever they're trying to use against him is debatable. In court, we prove, we prove that the state misled not just the magistrate, to give the magistrate the benefit of the doubt that they're not in cahoot with the state. But everybody could see that they all in cahoot. The magistrate and the state. They in cahoot. They just want to prosecute with what they got, even though if they miss and fall. They don't care. They crashing out. They crashing out. They come in with evidence that can't even legally be used because it's fabricated. And it's bad. It's bad because all this stuff delay justice for the victims. Because while they playing with Bryan Kohberger in court, the real killers still out there living life. Ain't that crazy?
All right. Next is unnoticed 404B evidence and evidence regarding the 404B evidence that was noticed in this case, which is the traffic stop.
I'm prepared to address that, Your Honor. I do note on the court's list, the state's motion regarding improper death penalty comments is actually next in order, but we'll take it in whatever order the court
Well,
prefers.
let me, if you want to address that, let's do that first. I apologize. I should have included that within the group because I think it kind of falls within the same category. I think you understand what my rulings are, but I can address it specifically if counsel would like me to.
Ms. James was going to handle that. We're happy to just submit it to the
I
court
think it's
on
the
the
defendant's
filings.
motion, so if they want to argue it, they can.
Your Honor, it's the state's motion.
Oh, is it the state's
It is the
motion?
state's motion.
I apologize. Oh, that's right. I was thinking of it in the opposite terms. That's fine. This, if you want to, Ms. Jennings, address that briefly, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will.
And this relates to the concerns that the defense may say something like the state's trying to kill Mr. Kohberger or something of that nature, as I understand.
Yes, Your Honor. There has been a history in this case of that mischaracterization of 18-4004A. We're just hoping that that mischaracterization is not made in front of a jury.
All right, mischaracterization, right? Mischaracterize. You fabricated a whole bunch of spaghetti and threw it in the wall and saw what is stuck. You saw what you could have used against Bryan Kohberger because you already had his phone number. By the time Brett Kopaka, after Brett Kopaka was dead, y'all needed something else. When y'all got the heads up about Bryan Kohberger, did they say they didn't got a heads up? They said they didn't got a heads up. Brett Payne said that he didn't know about from no private cop or from WSU. He said that he didn't heard nothing about down to later on. Big shout out to James. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Big shout out to James Moyen. So the same thing that Cyril been talking about, that yes, illegally, after Brett Kopaka was dead, they focused on Bryan Kohberger because it was the only second option that they have. They would have matched their cost for what they wanted to do. It was the second option, Bryan Kohberger. What you got? We got a phone number. We just got to say that we got DNA from this guy. That's it. We just have to say, even though we don't have it, we just have to say that we have DNA. And by the time we get and collect his DNA, then we have the DNA. But all that shit that we're going to do for it is going to be illegal to get to the DNA. Because we just need the DNA to have a match. Do you understand me? You could lie your way, and then compliment because you're using that you have a cell phone data that you could utilize and manipulate to make it look like it seems that Bryan Kohberger is the guy, right? That's exactly what Maury did. Put a cell phone cast data that instead of being real and truthful, it made Bryan Kohberger look guilty. It looked Bryan Kohberger to be like, yo, this is a possible route that he took. Actually, no, they said that in fact this is the route that he took. When indeed shows right now that all that was a lie. With proof. And Taylor and Cyril could prove that. So you're gonna tell me that the reason that Bryan Kohberger is arrested because they have some cell phone data that they could put together, and now we could say, that we believe that the DNA in that sheath is Bryan Kohberger's, and now we have a reason to get a warrant to go and get him to get some DNA. And actually, they didn't have a warrant to go and get him, because if they have a warrant of fugitive of the law, it don't matter where he was. Without IGG, he was supposed to be arrested. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? If you have a warrant for a fugitive of the law in Idaho, soon as you see you fugitive, you arrest him. You don't sit there and scout the area and fish for DNA. Because if you have a warrant of fugitive of the law already, that means that whenever you see that fugitive, you're gonna put hands on them. You're not gonna sit there to fish for DNA on a trash can to then say, oh yeah, we got an IGG hit through his dad, because it's complicated, right? It steps is levels to this shit, right? Right? Y'all wanna make it sound so complicated. The sheaf, right? Whatever they say on DNA was in that sheaf, it matched 100 to 100. It matched 100 to 100 to Bryan Kohberger's dad. Right? That's the narrative, right? The Bryan Kohberger's dad DNA matched 100 to the 100. It was the parent of the killer. What? What? 100 to 100 that is the parent of the killer. What? How can you even arrest anyone with the argument? Because if that parent have multiple children, like he has Bryan Kohberger and two other daughters, then now you have to arrest Bryan Kohberger and the two other daughters, exclude the other two daughters, and then you stay with Bryan Kohberger. But you still have to arrest everyone. It's a process to that. And this process was a little too quick, like to be taken care of with a higher quality of control. When everything started to happen with this shift, it was no match. It was inconclusive. It was inconclusive, just as the other DNAs. How can you pursue one DNA and not the others? The state will have to explain themselves with that.
But considering the court's comments this morning, as well as defense counsel's comments that there shouldn't be statements made whose sole purpose is only for an emotional appeal, I think that this is settled. And defendant replied basically.
I want to respond to Amy Conway because, yeah, Amy Conway is correct. If you don't have you have a warrant for a fugitive of the law, for you don't have an excuse to be in Pennsylvania. You have a warrant to go and knock on this person's door. You have a warrant to go and knock on this person's door without DNA. Already. For you to be in Pennsylvania, you have no probable cause to be in Pennsylvania, right? And what's your probable cause at that moment? What is it? Because you can't say it was the cell phone data, because at that moment, you're supposed to not have them. is what? The alleged IGG, right? The alleged IGG is the probable cause for you to be in Pennsylvania with warrant of a fugitive of the law because you're not supposed to have nothing else. Nothing else. A IGG for you to be in Pennsylvania fishing for DNA. How stupid that shit sound? If you didn't have a positive DNA match before you went to Pennsylvania and get this man, that made that arrest illegal because you don't have enough probable cause at that moment where IGG work that they told you do not use it to arrest the man, but somehow you still use the IGG work to have a warrant for a fugitive of the law with an excuse to go to Pennsylvania, spend taxpayer money to go and fish for DNA because you did not have DNA to match. And the only way you could match that DNA is with an illegal excuse to be where you were using police force from other states. Now you're involving police, a police task force from a whole different state on your own fuckery. Let me cook with your own fuckery. What was your probable cause for you to be in Pennsylvania looking for Bryan Kohberger when at that moment Bryan Kohberger has not broken the law in Idaho? It's not even an assurance that he did. It's no prior DNA match. They went with a opinion. They did not went with truth and fact. With a opinion, because of course they don't want to tell you they already got the cell phone data. We an opinion. You are in Pennsylvania searching in trash cans for DNA because you don't have nothing. That's how desperate you was. That you lie your way to a warrant. You lie your way to a warrant to get to Pennsylvania. Stalk the Kohberger family. Destroy their property and kidnap their son. That he has a special needs, even though he's pretty smart for classes. I guess he's not just battling and getting his demons from the past, as far as drug addictions, like people talk about, but also he has a deficiency that he also been fighting against to try to be a normal, regular human being, and actually even that is being used against him. So while we try to tell the community that you could have a disability and fight your way to try to be a normal person and live your life in a normal way, even though you deficiency, you got to almost to get a PhD and degrees in criminology and criminal justice and psychologically and all these other credits that the man have with his deficiency and he battling through everything in life. Now we're telling the community that you try to reach the American dream and reaching the American dream, he gets found to be thrown away in the gulag. He was chosen by the state to be thrown in the gulag. And now he's in the gulag praying for luck. that the truth will be able to be accepted in court. It's like no point to be doing what we doing right now. It's no point to it. It's like how come that we even here at this point, almost 3 years later, talking about an injustice not just to the Idaho 4 victims, but also to another human being. That's just without mentioning Brett Kopaka, rest in peace. Because he's many victims in the Idaho 4. At this day, today, confirmed victims of the Idaho is 6. Even counting Bryan Kohberger, a victim of Idaho. This is 6 victims of Idaho. Kiely, Maddie, Ethan, Sana, Brett Kopaka, and Bryan Kohberger, victims of the Greek life community. Victims of the Greek life. Because they think they mighty powerful and they wrong. They run the system, right? You mighty powerful. You run the machinery. Huh? What will happen when you cannot run away from the truth? How your community is going to adjust to that? How the University of Idaho is going to adjust when they take a hit, when truth and reality knocks on their door? Because I still hope that even though after they stop playing with Bryan Kohberger in court, I hope they get back to work and actually arrest the killers, including those, because I tell you what, man, it's a crime behind every single event in this case. It's not just the crime committed by the students of the University of Idaho, but the crime committed of the University of Idaho flexing the muscles to disturb the investigation and making sure that none of the students of the University of Idaho were investigated. The incompetency and corruption of Moscow PD, FBI, in the way they handle this case to frame this guy, that's all criminal. That's indictable shit. But they thought that in the way they were about to do it, they thought they saw that when you desperate, you cannot plan nothing. First and foremost, when you desperate, you can plan for shit because you're always gonna make a mistake. I'm gonna tell you right now, when you desperate, do not plan for shit because it will never work. You have to be calm and collect, very thoughtful. But when you desperate, do not plan a fucking thing because it's never gonna work. You could ask all my enemies. It will never work. I will always win because you're desperate. I'm not. I'm not desperate. I don't care. For the state, and we're talking about University of Idaho, Moscow PD, the state, Bill Thompson, court, all in cahoot. Because that's how it looks like. That's how it looks like. They made it look like that. I'm saying what they made it look like. In my opinion, for in the way they made it look like, everyone was in cahoot to do something, to do damage control and somehow patch up the horrendous, horrifying, brutal killing of the Idaho 4 and the crimes that were committed after. by authorities, by the powers to be. Moscow PD, Pullman, all in cahoot. Puppet masters, the Greek life from the University of Idaho. Puppet masters, making sure that everyone move accordingly and say the right things. Even in the legacy media with their connections, even in the YouTube environment with their connections. We content creators overall here in the true crime community. Y'all think that we don't know? Y'all didn't have nothing and y'all went through legal ways, legal and unfair ways to not just use propaganda, social media outlets, and news media outlets all over the world. Y'all push the false information through sources that they were supposed to be reliable sources. Y'all push the false information against Bryan Kohberger through the whole world. And then frame this guy with a whole bunch of nothing. Illegally arrest him. And that's how we're here today. That's how we're here today. We're here today. We're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to be here the next day. If I don't have a voice, I won't be here. But as long as I have a voice, I will always let y'all know that the only reason why we're here talking about the Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger case and the way we're talking about it at this day today, blaming the authorities, the University of Idaho, police, FBI, everyone, Moscow PD, even some of the family members, they have gave us the reason to speak like this. They have gave us all the grounds, all the reasons, and all the public information for at this day today me have a conclusion and an opinion of what's going on with this Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case. We are here at this day today, and we will be here talking about this case for a long time, as long as it takes. But the only reason why we're here is because the state did not do due diligence. The authorities, the University of Idaho did not protect the interests of the life of these victims, allowing a toxic community of hazing, drug, prostitution, premature alcohol, because it is youngins that is proven already that like the victims were drinking and they were not even supposed to have alcohol within your community. Fraternity members paying for alcohol for youngins under the age of 21 that are not allowed to drink, but you have fraternity members and sorority members buying and providing drugs and alcohol to their community of youngin students. This is proven facts. It's public record. It's public record. It's facts. It's receipts of Ethan paying for alcohol to a fraternity member because he couldn't purchase alcohol. So that means that all those years, all that time that he was in college, he was drinking illegally. Santa drinking illegally, and it was being allowed. Your community, the Greek life community, encourage with proven receipts, encourage youngins that are not allowed to drink in school property, in fraternity houses, sorority houses, rented sorority private houses, like in this case. Is well known alcohol, drugs, and prostitution. Is well known. Sex tapes are well known. It's gonna be girls that are gonna be mad with their ex-boyfriend. It's gonna be girls that are gonna be mad with their ex-boyfriend, and a sex tape with her best friend on a threesome, foursome, quadruple. It will pop out. It will pop out. Because the reason why that is made is to pop out and get someone furious enough to want him to kill. I'm gonna leave you with that because I think I said too much. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Big shout out to everyone. Hopefully, y'all did listen to all the words that came out of my mouth. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Big shout out to Amy Conway, James Mohan, everybody that have been listening to for the past hours. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Very appreciated. Thank you for being here. As always, y'all can always send us some love. Right there in the Cash App, the On Point family, y'all can always donate, and it's very appreciated. It goes direct to the family. Thank you so much. Very appreciated for all you love and support. Please make sure click like, subscribe, and share the content. We love you too, Amy Conway. We love you too. James want to say, I think when Hitler got this case, he probably, yeah, I know. It just, yeah, he got set up for failure. In reality, he got set up for failure. He set himself up for failure picking up this case. He should have been like, nah, I'm gonna give it to someone else. Fuck that. But he ended up picking up the case, so literally he set himself a failure because he gonna look bad in the same way he been looking bad right now. There's no way for Judge Hitler to be looking bad like this, you know. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Big shout out to everyone that was watching. For those that missed the live stream, make sure that you go back and play the live. Make sure you get informed of what we was talking about today. Hopefully, I have enough boys to come tomorrow and have a conversation with you about the hearing, and we move forward, having more content as always. More clips are coming out. Big shout out to everyone that been watching the clips. Big shout out to everyone that be watching the classics. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support that y'all been giving to the classics. There's more clips coming out. Hopefully this morning in a little bit. I'm gonna make more clips accessible with more information for everyone to listen to. Big shout out to Dago. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Big shout out to Rock Shock. Big shout out to Joanne, all the ladies, Cindy, Kathleen, James Moen. Big shout out to all of ya. And as always, believe in yourself because I believe in you. If I did it, you could do it too. I ain't nothing special. I believe that you're going to take the best decisions in your life for yourself and for everyone around you. Love yourself, take care of yourself so you'll be able to love others and take care of others. Have a good night. As always, the host of the Mo, Tinko the Tango, Jin to the Django, your favorite brother, your mother's favorite son, the Black Sheep, Jrod on point. We're gonna be here, if not tomorrow, next day. But you know how we do, what to do when I do it. It's Jrod on point, and I'm gonna leave you with your favorite song, my favorite song. You so sexy. Have a good morning.
Salga a la luz, sexy millar, la que me tira a la guiña, aunque andes con su man, vamos a misionar.